So in this demo, you're going to see the VSA trading package working on the MT5 platform, but it works in exactly the same way on all the other trading platforms we support. Earlier today, the VSA trading strategy document was opened and step 1 was initiated. The MT5 platform was started. So the time is now 9:55. We've got an email notification which is alerting us to a VSA sign of weakness, and it's appeared on the 5-minute silver chart. Here is a sequential scanner for silver, and here you'll see the sign of weakness has indeed appeared on the 5-minute chart. The sign of weakness 84, weakness has appeared indicator. So the strategy directs us to look at the general direction of the trend, especially in the longer time frames. In this case, as you can see, it's obvious that the trends are moving in the same direction. They're predominantly red across both the larger time frames and right up to the 5-minute chart. So as this is the case, we can move on to the next step. If the scanner window had looked like this, then there wouldn't have been a clear consensus of trend. So in this case, you ignore the alert, the potential trade is aborted, and you wait for the next email alert. But in this case, the direction of trend has been confirmed. Now we wait for a VSA confirmation signal. The bigger the time frame it appears in, the bigger the potential move. The time is now midday. A confirmation signal, the upthrust, has appeared on the 5-minute chart. Rule 3 in the strategy document says that you need to read the dialog box which explains what you need to look for. The next rule in the strategy states that we need to check a lower time frame and wait for a change of behaviour. Let's look at the 1-minute chart. As you can see, the short-term trend, the coloured dots, are coloured green, which means the short-term trend has not yet gone short. We need to wait for the short-term trend to turn red and remain red for at least 5 bars. In this case, it took 5 minutes to change behaviour. Here, there are now 5 bars with red short-term trend diamonds, so following the rules, we can now enter the trade. And the trade was entered at 12:05. So the trade has been entered and now it has to be managed to minimise risk and lock in profits as soon as possible. Rule 6 says that on the first spike of high volume, you move your stop to the top of the price bar and then repeat until you get stopped out. Here are the points where the stop loss was moved to during the trade. Finally, on this bar, the trade exits as the price rises through the stop. Now, there are 2 important tools in the software to assist you in the placement of stops. The first is the VSA tracker stop. The tracker stop system follows the price up or down depending on whether you are long or short. There are 2 levels on each bar, either above the bar for short trades or below for long trades. If the stops straddle the bar, then the chart is in congestion and you shouldn't be trading it. The stop furthest from the bar is more conservative and so less risky. The second tool is called trend clusters. It uses previous support and resistance and identifies historical significant points where they're happening. When these appear on the right edge of the chart, the software has picked up intersecting trend lines and channels either above the price action, where you're going to see resistance to higher prices, or below the price action, where you're going to see resistance to lower prices above the price action. You can see up to 10 clusters at once, with up to 3 different severity levels. When the price comes close to a cluster, it will either meet resistance and change direction, or break through. So these clusters can alert you to changes in direction, which can mean it's time to exit the trade. Let's look at another example, this time to the long side. The time is 9:15. We've had an email notification which has alerted us to a VSA sign of strength, and it's appeared on the 5-minute chart in the pound-yen currency pair. Here is a sequential scanner for the pound-yen currency pair, and here you will see that the sign of strength has indeed appeared on the 5-minute chart. This indicator is sign of strength, SOS 87, a shakeout. So the strategy directs us to look at the general direction of the trend, especially in the longer time frames. In this case, as you can see, the trends are very obviously in the same direction. They're predominantly green across both the larger and smaller time frames. And as this is the case, we can move on to the next step. Now we need to wait for the VSA confirmation signal. The time is now 10:40. A confirmation signal, SOS 16, test after a shakeout, has appeared on the 5-minute chart. Again, Rule 3 in the strategy document says that for a signal to be confirmed, you need to read the dialog box, which will explain what you're looking for. The next rule in the strategy document says that we need to check a lower time frame and wait for a change of behaviour. Here is the 1-minute chart, and as you can see, the short-term trend is still red, which means that the market has not yet changed direction. We need to wait for the short-term trend to turn green and remain green for at least 7 bars. The time is now 1 minute past 11, and there are now 7 bars with green short-term trend diamonds. So according to the rules, we can now enter the trade. Again, the trade needs to be managed to minimise risk and lock in profits as soon as possible. Rule 6 says that on the first spike of high volume, you move the stop to the bottom of the price bar, and then repeat until you get stopped out. In this long trade, as you can see, a medium severity trend cluster has appeared here. So we're going to see if the price breaks through the cluster. The price does not appear to have broken through, so the trade was exited on this bar.